Chapter 10, Section 3, starting on page 699. The most important thing with this section is called absolute value. And we will get to that after we do a little bit of practice on page 700. First, we're going to use a number line and the number set to answer each question. Plot each value on the number line. So you're going to put all these numbers on your number line. Negative 6 2/3. You're going to go left. There's negative 5. Negative 6 is right about here. They really don't give us much room. It's negative 6 2/3. Negative 25. Watch your negative sign. There's negative 25. 0. Right smack in the middle. 10 1/2. There's 10. Your interval is 1. So in between those lines is 10.5. That was not your bell. Negative 17 1/2. Just got to watch your signs here. Here's negative 15, negative 16, negative 17 1/2 right here. Negative 7 98/100. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8 is right here. It's got to be right in front of that. Write that down there. 12. No positive sign, but that's okay. We don't need it. 12. Negative 3. Here's 0. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you go negative. And then the last one is negative 13, which is right there. What is the least value on all of those? Negative 25. Farthest left. Farther you go left on your number line, the smaller the number gets. What's the biggest one? That would be 12. Farthest right. How's your cursive coming along? Okay, now we're going to compare rational numbers. First one is negative 10 25/100. That's right here. I'm going to write that. Negative 15 is right. 12, 13, 20. Negative 15 2/3. Okay. Negative 10 is greater than negative 15 because it's farther right on your number line. Negative 17, two of them, right there. Those are equal. 5 2/3. Whenever this one's positive, this one's negative. It's got to be greater. Practice your graphing. 5 2/3. Negative 8 is right here. Negative 8.28. Farther right, the bigger it is. D, you have a positive number. One's a negative. Positive's always bigger. 20 5/6 over here. And negative 15.89 less than negative 16. That goes right there. E, two negative 7s. They're both right here. Those are equal. Negative 9 and positive 1. Negative 9 is less than positive 1. We're graphing it so you can see it. The farther right, the bigger it is. Negative 18.276. It's going to be right about there. Negative 3 7/9. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, right about there. Less than. Negative 18 is less than negative 3. 12 is greater than 7. Now, there's 12.227 and 7.75. There's 6 or 7, right about there. Explain how you knew which rational number was greater. Farther, make it right, farther right. Explain how you know which rational number was less. Farther left. What is the least non-negative rational number? Non-negative rational number. Did you think about it before I read it? 0. Give an example of two rational numbers that are the same distance from 0. Here's 0. There's -5. There's +5. That's 5 units. That's 5 units. So I'm going to use -5 and 5. Just have to use opposites. Okay, going through these questions quickly. Which is greater, a negative or a positive rational number? Positive, always greater. Farther right. Which is greater, 0 or any positive rational number? Positive. Positive number, not hashtag. Farther right. If we keep repeating. Which is greater, 0 or any negative number? 0, because it is farther right. How do you decide which of two numbers is greater if both are positive? Yes, you've guessed it. Farther right. How do you decide which of the two numbers is greater if both numbers are negative? Think about it. Farther right. A little redundant. Number 12, order the rational numbers -7, 13.75, -2, -25, and 34 8/9. Start with our negative numbers first. Which one is farthest left? -25.0123. Cross it out. I have another negative, -7. Cross that out. There's another negative, -2 3/4. Cross that out. And you've got 13 and 34. 13.75 to be exact, and 34 8/9. Okay, for problem 2, now we're getting to absolute value. It's a very important concept. You need to understand what absolute value is. And it's not that hard. If you have a number line, there's 0, there's -7. The absolute value of -7 is 7 because it is 7 units from 0. That's all absolute value is the distance from 0. If I have +7, put a little positive sign just because, it's still 7. So the way we're going to write this is a new symbol. You put two parallel lines, not parentheses, but parallel lines around the number. That's called absolute value. You'll get the hang of this pretty quick. The absolute value of -5 on 1A is 5 because it's 5 units from 0. The absolute value of 7 2/3, 7 2/3. The absolute value of 0 is 0. The absolute value of -42 is 42. Number 2 is a good question. Explain whether two different rational numbers can have the same absolute value. Here's -7, here's +7. Both equal 7. They're both 7 units from 0. What two numbers have an absolute value of 11? 11 and -11. What can you say about the absolute value of any positive number? It's that number. It's the number. So when it's negative, you just take away the negative sign. If it's positive, you just write down the number. That's what absolute value is. Number 5, what can you say about the absolute value of any negative number? It's the opposite. For example, -7, that equals 7. -10, get this absolute value, would be 10. The absolute value of 0, it's 0 because it's right on 0. All of the integers that are 10 units away from 0, there's only 2. Here's 0, +10, and -10. Those two integers are 10 units away from 0. Now, 10 units away from -5. This one's a little different. Here's -5. So if I go 10 this way, I'm at +5. If I go 10 this way, I'm at -15. That's where it starts getting a little tricky. So 5 and -15. There's a few practice problems I'd like you to do, 9 and 10. I'm going to do a couple with you. The absolute value of -4.67, the absolute value of 3. When you're doing these, write the absolute values of there. This time, it's greater. B, the absolute value of -15 is 15. This is 15, so those are equal. Absolute value of 25 and 9/10 is 25 and 9/10. The absolute value of -33 and 2/3, is 33 and 2/3, less than. Try those three. Pause the video and try them. All right, now you're back. Then we can do operations with the absolute value. So the absolute value of -5 is 5. This is 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. B, the absolute value of -8.75 is 8.75 minus, that stays the same. The absolute value of -4.25 is 4.25. I subtract those, 4.5. C, the absolute value of -6 and 7/10 is 6 and 7/10. 0 stays the same. I'm adding 6 and 7/10. Try those three. And then check in the textbook.